Thank you so much for listening today. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for taking the time to be a part of our community. Don't forget to check the show notes for the resources I shared in today's episode, and of course to connect with me on social. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at erika.vishkalis. You can also find me on Facebook at erikavishkalis. If you want to be a part of our online community, check out our Facebook group, Empowered with Erika. You can also find all of our offers and community links at empoweredwitherika.com. I always love hearing from you, so don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and tag me with your biggest takeaways from today's episode. Let me know what you loved and what you want to hear more about, and share it with someone who you think would love it too. I cannot wait to share more with you. I will see you next week, and don't forget to stay empowered. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Empowered with Erika. Your host Erika here, and I'm so damn excited for today's episode. So today we are talking all about how it is time for you to choose yourself. Yes, it is time for you to choose yourself. What does that mean? Well, that can mean a whole variety of things. That can look like so many different areas of your life. That can look like your fitness life, your career, your relationships with others, with starting maybe your sobriety journey or your trauma healing journey. But I'm telling you right now, if you are thinking about doing something and you're scared to do it, if you're thinking about pivoting, if you're thinking about making a big, bold leap and you're scared to do it because maybe you're scared of what other people will think. Maybe it goes against, society's expectations. Maybe it's not the norm and you're scared, but you want to do something. You have something that's on your heart. Maybe you want to start a journey, or you have something that's on your heart that you want to do, and you're so fucking scared to make that big leap, to take that action. Here's what I'm telling you. It is time that you choose yourself. It is time to choose you. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean that in a selfish way. I mean that in the sense of, okay, the concept of you can't pour out of an empty cup, right? You can't pour out of an empty cup. So what I mean by it's time to choose you is it is time to make sure your cup is fucking full. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from a damaged cup, from a cup that is leaking. Well, maybe you can, but not very effectively. If your cup is half full and you need to pour and have a full glass into the other one, you ain't going to do it. You're not going to be able to. Just like you are not going to be able to reach your potential in life and do the things that light you up, that fill you with so much joy and passion and just so much light and love. You're not going to be able to do that if you consistently put others first, if you consistently do not choose yourself. So this is what I'm saying is you can still be such a kind and loving and empathetic and caring individual. You can be all those things and still at the end of the day, remember that you need to choose you. You need to. You need to be able to love yourself enough to choose yourself. So here's a great example for me personally. When I decided to get sober, there was a lot of people that were close to me in my life that were not super supportive. So that doesn't mean that they were necessarily against it. They just had told themselves, you don't have a drinking problem. You don't need to get sober. What are you talking about? Now, granted, I hit it pretty well for the most part. A lot of people had no idea that, because I didn't drink often. My sobriety journey is a little different than others where I didn't drink often, but whenever I did, it was very irresponsible and it was not healthy, right? So I decided to choose myself and to realize that this is a step I need to take for myself. And it went against society's norms. One of the biggest and most difficult parts of starting my sober journey was figuring out how to fit into society when I don't drink, because there is a lot of shit that is centered around drinking. And that's kind of sad, but it's true, right? And so I was deciding, you know what? This might make me an outcast. This might put a little stigma on me. A lot of people look down on those who are sober because they don't understand it, they don't know what it means, and they automatically think that you're some terrible person, right? Like the stigma of being sober is very, very real. And it can be scary to talk about. Like, I'll be honest, I don't like talking about it that much. And this podcast has brought it out a lot more in me. A lot of people didn't even realize, unless they were like in my close circle, that I was sober, because I just don't talk about it very much. And when I'm out, I just, quietly drink whatever that I have decided to drink that day. I'll bring my alternatives if it's like a function that I'm going to, or if I'm at a bar or a restaurant, I have my go-to drinks that I do there. And I just like don't make a big deal about it usually. But the reason I shared on this podcast is because I think it's really important for us to talk about these things and talk about, what? Some things that you may need to do for yourself, some action steps that are very clearly choosing you, putting yourself first, making yourself a priority, because guess what? You have to be a priority in your life. If you are constantly a people pleaser or bending over backwards for other people, you're going to get burnt out and you're probably going to be unhappy. And I want to say that doesn't mean, again, this doesn't mean that you aren't caring, that you aren't kind, that you don't give back, because giving back is incredibly important. Like, I'm a big advocate, and honestly, I need to get back into it. But for volunteering, I used to volunteer a lot, and I actually really need to make that a priority again. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I haven't done that in a while, but I know how important it is. Just like gratitude is really important, because it's like noticing the good in your life. Giving back is important. I try to make it a priority to, donate a certain amount of money every month and all those types of things, because giving back, it's good karma. It's good to contribute to society, but also it lights up your soul. But that doesn't mean that you also can't put yourself first. You have to make sure that you are choosing yourself. Because like I've said before, no one else is going to do it for you. It is incredibly important that you are self-aware enough to realize what is actually hurting me versus helping me, what is adding to my cup versus taking away from my cup. So the analogy of, well, you can't pour from an empty cup. That's fucking true. You also can't pour from a cup that's damaged, or at least not efficiently. You can't pour from a cup that has a leak. You can't pour from a cup that's empty. Right? So you need to be filling up your cup. You need to be putting yourself first, and you need to choose yourself. So there are often times that we are doing things that maybe are more acceptable in society. Maybe they're the societal expectation. Oh, you got to be married by a certain time with kids, 2.5 kids, the white picket fence. You got to get this degree and do this, this, and this. No, you fucking don't. If that's not what is right for you, you need to do what your soul feels called to do. So, there's a big resignation going on in the career world right now. And I think it's honestly because a lot of people have realized, especially with the pandemic, how maybe their job was not lighting them up, or how miserable they were, or how it was not in alignment with the life they want. And you can, not hate something and realize that it's not a good fit for you. So for me, I probably realistically could drink again, but I'm choosing not to. I'm choosing to put myself first. I'm deciding to choose myself over choosing that level of potentially comfort, or fitting in, being in the normal of society, because the normal is drinking. And so when you choose not to, it's automatically making you an outcast. Just like that can apply to so many things. Say you decide not to go to college. Not everyone needs to go to college. Like PSA, I think college is a good thing if, the career that you want requires it. But it's not necessary, and it also doesn't make you any fucking less if you decide to not go that route. Right? We need people from all different walks of life. We need people that come from very different paths. So when I started my sober journey, I was making the active decision to put myself first and to choose myself, because I knew the life that I wanted to live. I knew I had goals. I had dreams. I had a vision for my life, and I saw that me continuing to drink and the person that I became when I drank and the consequences of my drinking were not in alignment to the life that I wanted to live. They were not getting me closer to the life that I want to live. So why would I then continue to do that? That makes literally no sense. It makes no sense to keep doing something that you know actively goes against your goals, right? If it actively goes against your goals, why the hell would you continue doing it? Why would you continue doing it? That makes literally no sense, right? So that's what I'm saying is you need to choose you, because oftentimes other people may care about you, but at the end of the day, they care about themselves first and most, and that's okay. That doesn't make them a bad person, because we all need to do that. So another example, like I was saying, is a career. Let's say, because I know a lot of people in healthcare that are burnt the fuck out and they are constantly pouring from an empty cup, such as like same with teachers. Like I know a lot of people who are teachers that are leaving their careers, a lot of people in healthcare that are leaving their careers. And I think a big part of that is because they're realizing I have constantly put other people first at the detriment to myself. And I'm realizing that this isn't the life I want anymore. And I think it's also important to note that it can be really scary to choose yourself, especially because, like I've said, we've been told for years that it's selfish. You're being selfish. You're doing something against the grain, or, you know, you are maybe not like a good person or a nice person. Like we have all these negative things to say about people that just fucking choose themselves. We talk shit, or we judge, or we do this, or we do that, and that's not fucking right. It's not necessary, because at the end of the day, you are the one that's responsible for living a life that lights you up. You are the one responsible for living a life that you love. You are the one responsible for creating your destiny, for creating your dreams, for making shit happen. So if you don't have something that you want, if you are, a million miles away from the life that you pictured for yourself, I think it's time you take a look in the fucking mirror and see, am I choosing myself? What am I doing to get me where I want to go? And I know, again, we have responsibilities. I'm not saying that you need to just go drop off the face of the earth. So like a great example of this as well, and I'm not in this life position yet, but I have a lot of friends in this situation, and this is what I hope to do when I get there. But motherhood or parenthood, right? Being a parent. You are responsible for another fucking human being or multiple human beings, and it is your job to take care of them, right? So often you're going to put them first. Well, I'll be quite fucking honest. I think, personally, one of the problems with our society right now is we have a couple generations of kids whose parents put them first before fucking anything else. And I actually heard this in an event and in a podcast recently by Ed Milet. Ed Milet is incredible. If you have not heard of him, you need to look him up. And I just did a podcast focused on something that he taught me. I believe it was episode 15, potentially 15 or 16. I will put it in the show notes because it's good. But anywho, Ed Milet said, and I'm paraphrasing because obviously I don't have the direct quote right now, but he basically said that parents that do not go after their dreams, parents that are not living a life that fulfills them, that don't go after what they want, are actually doing a huge disservice to their children. It's actually a negative thing towards their children for them to not put themselves first and not go after their dreams. And that doesn't mean that you're neglecting your kids or abandoning your kids. It doesn't mean that, because guess what? You're actually showing an example to your children that you need to go after what you care about, that it's a good thing to go after your dreams. It's a good thing to try to become the best version of yourselves. You are setting that example. If a mom or a dad makes makes time, I'm thinking of the word, I can't think of the word. If a parent makes a effort to put themselves first, such as I'm going to get up earlier before my kids get up because I know that if I have 20 minutes to myself before they get up, that I will start my day in a better mood. If I have 5 minutes to meditate and 5 minutes to sip my coffee and 5 minutes to wash my face and throw on a little makeup because it makes me feel good about myself, that's going to start my day off right. Or, you know what, if it's important to me that my partner and I have a date night twice a month and we're going to get a babysitter so that we are making sure to maintain our relationship for our kids to be in a good family, in a stable family, in a loving family. Or, you know what, we actually find family dinners really fucking important, so we're going to make that a priority. That's not being selfish. That is that's choosing you, but by choosing yourself, it's going to have a positive ripple effect. If everyone made sure to fill their own cup, what a better society we would live in, right? Because we would all be able to give from a place of contentment and fulfillment and joy and inspiration and passion and love versus, a place of maybe emptiness or I don't have anything left, but here's what I got and now I'm depleted and now it sends a negative effect, right? So again, this doesn't mean that you don't give back. It doesn't mean that you're selfish. It doesn't mean that you don't fucking give a shit about people. What it means is that you are realizing that if I choose myself, 1, I'm going to set an example for other people to choose themselves. 2, I'm going to be able to pour from a full cup. I'm going to be able to have a positive ripple effect, good karma, positive ripple effect into the universe. Good energy. Energy is fucking important. So what are you doing to choose yourself? Right? So again, I did some reel forever ago on Instagram about how when I don't remember exactly what I said in it, but essentially the concept was how when I started my sober journey, that it wasn't just about not drinking. It was about how I was allowing myself to choose myself. I was allowing myself to literally take a look in the mirror and see myself, to allow myself to heal, to really feel the feelings, to understand maybe why is this the road that I ended up on? Why did I end up on the road where when I was stressed or when I was overwhelmed or when I was upset about something, my go-to was this outlet? And it had a very large negative effect on my life. And thankfully, none of the consequences for me were super, super permanent, but it still wasn't good, right? It still wasn't a good thing. It was lowering my vibration. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't healthy mentally or physically or spiritually. And so I had to decide to choose myself. Just like I made a big life change in December of 2020, and I had to, in that moment, kind of throw away something that I'd spent a lot of time on that really could have taken my life in a completely different path, and I had to pivot and realize that I need to choose myself. I am done putting other people and their needs first. I'm fucking done with that. I'm done with that. And that made it so I wasn't in alignment with certain things or certain relationships anymore. I wasn't in alignment with those things anymore. And thus, I needed to go out of my way to choose myself and take the action steps to put myself first. So the 75 Hard is a great example of choosing yourself, because every single day you are choosing to put these tasks that you do in the 75 Hard first. You have to plan for that shit. You can't just wing it. You need to be very intentional and disciplined when you are doing the 75 Hard, and you have to choose yourself every single day. And that's why, in my opinion, the 75 Hard builds so much confidence in yourself, because you are choosing to keep a commitment you made to yourself. And every time you do something, every single time that you keep a commitment to yourself, you are going to increase your confidence in yourself, because you prove to yourself you can show up and you can execute something that you said you were going to do. And that is going to build confidence. And it can be as small as, I'm going to drink a gallon of water every fucking day. I'm going to get 2 45-minute workouts in every single day. I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes every single day. It can be as small as that, but keeping those commitments to yourself builds confidence. And it's a great example of choosing yourself. A great example, maybe moving across the country because you realize you need a change of pace. You need to get the fuck out of your hometown. You need to be in a different environment. That's probably going to piss some people off, right? You hear me say this a lot. Typically, when you're making the step that is best for you, typically when you are doing something that maybe goes against the norm, maybe against societal expectations, but you know in your heart that it is the right decision for you, you're probably going to piss some people off, but who fucking cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, it does not matter because, again, we want that positive ripple effect into society of making the effort to choose yourself, right? Because you never know your potential. You never know what you're going to be able to achieve if you just are in the passenger seat of your fucking life. Get in the fucking driver's seat of your life and choose which direction are you going to go. Are you going to go right or are you going to go left or straight or backwards? Where the fuck are you going to go? Choose. Make the decision. Do not be passive in your own fucking life. Do not be passive because guess what? I've seen too many people be unhappy and passive in their life and then later in their life they're fucking miserable. And typically they then make decisions that they regret and make things worse. Often. Or they just continue to live in this miserable existence and no one deserves that. Everyone deserves to have a happy, fulfilled, and joyful life, right? We all deserve that. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what mistakes you've made. I don't fucking care. Because you can have made the worst mistake in the fucking world, but if you learn from it, if you change, if you decide you're doing better, you deserve to be able to make those amends and to move forward. And I talked about this recently on, I think my episode 2 or 3 episodes ago, where your past does not disqualify you from having an amazing future. So don't be fucking passive. Don't be in the passenger seat of your life. Don't be in the back seat of your life. Be in the fucking driver's seat and make some damn decisions. Choose yourself. Wear the fucking lipstick. Cut your hair the certain way. Wear the outfits that make you feel fucking badass. Do it. Post on social media if you want to. Delete your social media if you want to. Fucking go live in the city you've always wanted to, or go be a recluse in the country if you wanted to, or go do what the fuck ever. Go move across the world if you want to. Do it. Do it, because wouldn't you rather say, well, at least I fucking tried. At least I tried. At least I gave it my all. Because you know what? There's a lot of people that are probably like, what the fuck? Why is she opening a business and why does she have a podcast? Like, what is she doing? This isn't what she went to school for. This isn't her 9 to 5. The fuck is she doing? Well, here, let me tell you. I am doing the things that light up my soul, that make me feel fulfilled, that honestly, in my opinion, send out good energy into the universe. I am doing the work that I fucking love to do, that lights me up. I love doing this podcast. It is fun. It doesn't feel like work. It started as a hobby, and I love it. I freaking love it. And so, what are you doing to get you where you want to be? What are you doing to be in the driver's seat of your own life? How are you choosing yourself? And again, it can start something as small as, I'm going to take that 20-minute walk every day because I fucking deserve it. It can be as big as, you know what? I've lived in this town for 30 fucking years. I don't want to anymore. I'm going to pack my shit and go. I'm going to move. Cool. Do it. Fucking do it. Because you know what? The worst thing that happens is you decide it wasn't the best fit and you pivot and you do something else. You do something else because if you are miserable, what do you have to lose? If you are not feeling fulfilled, if you're not feeling lit up, if you are not feeling like your soul is on fire and you're fucking happy and you are loving your life, what the fuck do you have to lose? Because would you rather spend the next 50 years being mediocre, spend the next 50 years living a life that does not satisfy you, that just is, you're in the passenger seat? Would you rather do that? Or would you rather at least be able to say, you know what? I tried. I put myself out there. I gave in the effort. I did it. I did the fucking thing. And, once I did the thing, it soared. Or maybe once I did the thing, I realized that really wasn't what I wanted. I thought it's what I wanted, but the grass isn't always greener. But I tried it and I'm moving on. Right? Because guess what? You don't owe people shit. You don't owe people an explanation. If you want to leave your job, if you want to go do something that is completely unrelated to the degree you got, who fucking cares? If that's what lights you up, go do it. Go do it. If you need to make big, bold action steps to live the life that you want, do not limit yourself. Do not tell yourself that you can't. Because you don't fucking know until you try. Right? And the only way that you quit, or the only way that you fail is by quitting. And the only way that you really fail is by not even fucking trying. Would you rather not try, not put yourself out there, not do the thing that sets your soul on fire, and just never know how it could go and always live with that, like, what if and that regret? Would you rather do that? Or would you rather take the leap and see what the fuck happens? Because again, was your life good before it? Was your life okay before it? Did you have things in your life you loved and you enjoyed before that moment? Okay, great. Great. I'm glad. So if it doesn't work out, it's not going to be the end of the world. And guess what? Even if this thing that you're going after, even if it breaks your heart or it crushes you, that it doesn't work out, let's just, play devil's advocate. Let's say the thing doesn't work. You go do the thing and it's a fucking disaster. Lesson learned, life happens for me, not to me. It's okay. I'm going to put my big girl pants on and we're going to fucking deal with it. We're going to go forward. Right? And again, I say this to you because I've had to make very big, bold leaps in my life multiple times where I did not fucking know where the road was going to lead. And it was scary. It was fucking scary. And I could have played it safe. I could have stayed on the normal path, this is what you do. You do this and this and this, and this is the timeline, and this is what you do, so go fucking do it. My Sagittarius manifesting generator self was like, hell no, lady. This is not the life we're living. This is not the way. I can feel it in my heart. My sacral is saying, pivot. And so we skirted on out of there. Right? So this is just my reminder. You need to choose you. You need to choose you. Because no one else is going to. Well, people might choose you, but you know what I'm saying. You need to be in the driver's seat of your life. You need to. Because you do not want to live a life that just wasn't fully lived, right? You don't want to live an unfulfilled or unaligned life. That doesn't sound like fun. And I think a lot of people are just so okay with the mediocre. And that doesn't mean that things are always going to be rainbows and butterflies. There's hard seasons, like I've mentioned before. I'm going through a hard season right now, and it's fucking difficult. It's making me question a lot of things. It's making me think, do I need to pivot? What do I need to do to rectify this or to get through these difficult moments? What do I need to do for me? And I'm assessing. I'm making small steps here and there. I'm expanding some things, contracting others. I'm leaning in some areas, leaning out of some. I'm, really just going in with both feet and seeing what the fuck happens. And so that doesn't mean that by choosing yourself, it's all going to be rainbows and butterflies or that it's all going to be easy. Because it's probably not. Life is not that way. It's just not. And how boring would it be? You wouldn't be able to appreciate all the beautiful and good moments if you didn't have some of the hard, shitty stuff. It sucks, but it's life, right? So, again, enough with my rambles today. I just had to share it with you. It's been on my heart to choose yourself because you are deserving. You deserve to choose yourself. You deserve to choose yourself. You are worthy of choosing yourself. You are worthy of living a life that you fucking love, that lights your soul on fire, that fulfills you. So don't settle. Don't settle. You can do it. I believe in you. Go live your most empowered life. Thank you so much for tuning in today, for being a part of our community. Remember, we've got the Facebook group. We've got Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and there's so many ways to connect. Share this with friends if it resonates with you, or if you think someone would like a certain episode, send it to them. because that's the whole point, is to get this message out so that we can create a movement of empowered people living life in alignment and loving what they do and living a life that just sets their soul on fucking fire. And that they are brave and bold enough to make those big changes and make those big leaps, right? So, again, love y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for listening. And don't forget to stay empowered. Welcome to the Empowered with Erika podcast. My name is Erika Vishkalis, and I'm an empowerment coach, mindset mentor, personal development enthusiast, and holistic health advocate. I've spent the last several years healing my mind, body, and soul, and have learned so much along the way. From healing trauma to navigating a sober lifestyle and learning how to step into my personal power, it has been transformational. If you are looking to heal, to be inspired, to uplevel your life, and become the most empowered version of yourself, you've come to the right place. I created this podcast to help you know you are worthy of rewriting your story and to help you navigate your own empowerment journey. You are worthy of living your most authentic, aligned, and inspired life, and I can help you get there. Whether you are diving deep into personal development or just need a weekly pick-me-up, I've got you covered. Thank you so much for pressing play today. I cannot wait to transform together. Let's get empowered.